The Madrigal family resides in the midst of the Colombian mountains, hidden away from the rest of the world. Alma Madrigal, the family's matriarch, was bestowed with a great blessing when she gave birth to her 3 children 50 years ago. Alma and her husband Pedro were forced to abandon their home, and many joined them in search of a new one. During their arduous journey, Pedro passed away, leaving Alma to care for their babies all by herself. In her darkest hour, the candle that Pedro had gifted her was enchanted, creating a flame that would never go out. Alma and her people were blessed with a magical haven to live in, which grew even more magical, giving birth to their new home. Since then, every member of the Madrigal family has been given a unique gift to care for and protect their community, which they receive upon turning 5. Mirabelle, the youngest member of the family, has just turned 5, and she is about to receive her gift. Years later, the young girl, with the assistance of her casita, is preparing for the ceremony that will take place. While setting the table, some of the other children inquire about Mirabelle's gift. Instead of focusing solely on herself, the young girl introduces all of the members of her family, each of whom possesses a special ability. Her older sister Isabella has the power to make everything bloom around her, and Luisa, her middle sister, is incredibly strong. Her abuela is responsible for keeping the family in order, while her Aunt Peppa controls the weather through her mood. Her Uncle Bruno, who has not been spoken of in a while, once had a terrible vision of the future and disappeared. Their mother Julieta can heal any ailment with her food, and Felix and Augustine joined the family by marrying Julieta and Peppa. Dolores, Mirabelle's cousin, can hear even the slightest noise from miles away, and Camilo, Dolores, and Antonio's brother, can transform into anyone. Although the children are eager to discover what Mirabelle's unique ability, Dolores reveals that the young girl has not yet received her gift. After being exposed, Mirabelle returns home to assist with the preparations for the ceremony. After being attacked by a swarm of bees, her father was disfigured and tried to calm her down, telling her that she didn't have to work so hard. Her mother was worried because this was the first family ceremony since the day Mirabelle did not receive her powers. Everyone was extremely anxious, especially Abuela. While Mirabelle was taking care of the decorations, Abuela appeared and asked the girl to let someone else do the work. She believed that the day needed to be perfect, and she didn't want to risk Mirabelle messing it up. Mirabelle decided to go to her room upon hearing this. Although everyone was searching the house for Antonio, Mirabelle knew exactly where the boy was hiding and how to get him out. She used her birthday gift to cheer him up, but he was very nervous. His biggest fear was that he would not receive a gift and end up disappointing his family. Mirabelle tried to calm him down and asked the boy to open his present. Inside the box was a stuffed jaguar, as he loved animals. At that moment, the casita began to prepare for the ceremony, which would soon begin. That night, the whole village gathered at the Madrigal family home to celebrate. Abuela began the ceremony, and Antonio invited Mirabelle to walk with him to his door. As they walked up the stairs, the young woman remembered the day of her ceremony. Unlike what happened to everyone in her family, the moment she touched the doorknob, the door disappeared and the candle almost went out. As Antonio touches the doorknob, a sudden flash of light emanates from the door and a toucan lands on his shoulder. They strike up a conversation, and before long, other animals arrive to join in on the celebration. Abuela breathes a sigh of relief, and everyone is invited to see Antonio's new room, which has been transformed into a jungle. As the guests marvel at the room's transformation, a jaguar appears and takes Antonio for a ride. While Mirabelle is proud of her cousin, she can't help but feel left out and distant from her loved ones. Overwhelmed by her emotions, Mirabelle decides to pour her heart out in a song. As she sings, cracks start to appear throughout the house, spreading to every corner, from the floor to the walls. Feeling desperate, Mirabelle interrupts the party and calls her grandmother to warn her of the impending danger. However, when Abuela arrives to investigate, everything has returned to normal, and there are no more cracks to be found. Mirabelle tries to explain herself, but Abuela insists that everything is all right, and the party resumes. Later, Mirabelle tries to convince her mother that she was telling the truth, but Juliet remains skeptical, believing that her daughter was seeing things. Juliet understands that this is a difficult time for Mirabelle, which may be why she saw cracks everywhere. In the dead of night, Mirabelle decides to check on a candle that had nearly gone out earlier. Approaching the window, she overhears Abuela talking to her late husband, pleading for his help to save the family miracle that was dying. Mirabelle realizes that she needs to save the magic of the house but doesn't know how. She seeks help from her cousin Dolores, who is known to hear everything. But Dolores informs Mirabelle that she is the only one who is fully attuned to the magic in the house. However, Luisa is apprehensive because Dolores had been listening to her ticking eye all night. At breakfast, Mirabelle joins her sister to investigate why she's anxious. However, Abuela intervenes by pulling the young woman to sit beside her and continues her speech about Mariano's marriage proposal to Isabella, the family's most perfect member. Dolores mentions the proposal will occur that night and Mariano wants 5 children. This information makes Isabella uncomfortable, but she can't disappoint her grandmother, who wants to expand the Madrigal family. After breakfast, Mirabelle talks to Louisa, who uses her gift to help villagers. However, Louisa is stressed and overwhelmed because she's afraid of failing and losing her family's trust. The previous night, when Mirabelle noticed cracks, Louisa felt weak and fears losing her gift, which she believes would make her useless. She doesn't know what's ruining the miracle, but overheard her grandmother's comment about a terrible vision of Casita's destruction. Unfortunately, no one knows the vision's details. Mirabelle decides to search for the vision and heads to Bruno's tower. Upon opening the door, she encounters a waterfall of sand and falls into a desert with a towering mountain called Pico. A toucan named Pico helps her navigate hundreds of steps, leading to a broken bridge that she crosses using a rope and a piece of wood. She then bumps into a clay jar that releases rats into a sculpture on the wall. After Pico leaves, Mirabelle finds a pool of sand with a green light. Shortly after the young girl realizes that the fragments she discovered were a vital part of a puzzle, she sets to work assembling them. At that very moment, the house begins to crack once again, and Mirabelle uncovers that she is the one to blame for destroying the magic. Knowing that the place is on the verge of collapse, she quickly gathers all the pieces of the vision, tucks them safely into her bag. In haste, she runs out of the building, almost falling off the cliff in the process. Upon her return home, Mirabelle is met with her grandmother's questioning, demanding to know where she has been. Suddenly, Louisa appears, revealing that she is losing her strength. Abuela becomes increasingly concerned upon hearing this news. However, she can't attend to the matter immediately because she needs to head over to the Guzman's residence to discuss Isabella's engagement. Back in her room, Mirabelle attempts to piece together the vision's fragments. However, her Aunt Peppa arrives to collect Antonio's belongings. The girl seizes the opportunity to inquire about her Uncle Bruno's visions. Peppa becomes nervous, and a cloud of anxiety looms over her head. Mirabelle asks whether being in one of Bruno's visions is positive or negative. Felix appears and explains that Bruno only predicted negative things, and being in his vision would signify bad luck. Many years ago, on Peppa and Felix's wedding day, Bruno predicted it would rain, and it did. This causes Peppa to become agitated, resulting in a severe storm. Shortly after, Dolores shows up and discloses that she can still hear Bruno mumbling around the house, although she believes it's all in her head. The entire village has dreadful memories of Bruno and gruesome stories about his predictions. While the rest of the family prepares for Mariano's arrival, Mirabelle returns to her room, determined to find the truth. After assembling all the puzzle pieces, Augustine shows up to call her for dinner and learns that his daughter is responsible for the house falling apart. As they talked about the events that had transpired, the man pleaded with the girl to keep their secret between them. However, unbeknownst to them, Tamaribel's cousin with the oversized ears was nearby and had overheard the entire conversation during dinner. Gossip soon spread like wildfire and eventually made its way to Tamaribel's mother. As Mariano prepared to propose to his beloved, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble and crack. Acting quickly, Mirabelle attempted to conceal the cracks from view. But then something peculiar happened. She noticed that some small animals were stealing pieces from her vision and piecing together a puzzle. This caused everyone to panic. Abuela managed to calm everyone down and finally discovered what it was that had frightened Bruno so much that he left. The cracks began to spread, and it wasn't long before a storm broke out inside the house. In the midst of the chaos, Mirabelle spotted some rats attempting to steal the vision pieces. She chased after them and eventually stumbled upon a hidden hole behind the wall. As she made her way through the corridor, Mirabelle encountered a hooded man who quickly fled upon seeing her. Determined to find out who he was, Mirabelle pursued him until she was stopped by a hole in the wooden floor. But she wasn't about to give up. Despite the obstacle, she tried to cross the hole and almost fell. Fortunately, Bruno appeared just in time to catch her hand. As they made their way out, the floor beneath them gave way, and Bruno fell. Thankfully, the hole was shallow, and he was unharmed. After leaving that place, Mirabelle stumbled upon her uncle's hiding place. There she discovered that he had been filling in the cracks to prevent the house from collapsing. He lived there with his pet rats, and from his hideout, he could observe the Madrigal family's dining room. Bruno's presence in the house had helped him to feel like part of the family, and Mirabelle couldn't help but question why she was in the vision. Her uncle confessed that he didn't know what it meant. On the night when Mirabelle had failed to receive her powers, Abuela had become worried about the family's future and begged Bruno to look into the future for answers. After witnessing the dire threat to magic posed by the crumbling house, Bruno realized that unlike his previous visions, this one did not offer a clear solution. It was uncertain, as though the future had yet to be decided. Rather than sharing his vision, he chose to destroy it and feign his escape. Bruno had no desire to face his family's scrutiny again, so he elected to depart after disclosing all he knew to Mirabelle. Though he implored her to leave with him, Mirabelle insisted on another vision, hoping to find a way out of their predicament. However, Bruno explained that he required a larger space to have visions at that moment. Antonio emerged and offered his room, informing them that the mice had already relayed everything to him. After preparing for the ritual, Bruno and Mirabelle took each other's hands, and the vision commenced. A butterfly fluttered into view, and they followed it closely. Suddenly, the candle flickered into existence, burning brighter than ever before. Standing before it was Mirabelle, in the vision, embracing her sister Isabella, the most bothersome member of their family. Although the two sisters did not get along, Mirabelle was resolute in sacrificing her pride to save magic. She approached her sister's room, seeking to make amends for ruining her marriage proposal, but Isabella was furious. Mirabelle discovered that her sister had always compromised her identity to please their family. She had even agreed to marry Mariano to avoid disappointing their grandmother. However, Mirabelle caused chaos during the proposal, replacing the flowers with cacti. Nevertheless, Isabella was enthralled by the novelty, having never grown anything besides flowers. From that point on, the younger sister resolved to be true to herself rather than attempting to be perfect all the time. Mirabelle realized that Isabella's life was not a bed of roses. Despite her great power, she bore a significant responsibility for their family's well-being. They embraced as the candle's flame grew stronger, mirroring Bruno's vision. Seeing the two of them together, Abuela became incensed, accusing Mirabelle of being a bad influence on Isabella. The matriarch asserted that the cracks in their family had begun with Mirabelle, and that it was her fault that Bruno had left. Ultimately, Abuela blamed Mirabelle for destroying their family, leaving the young woman feeling that she would never be good enough in her grandmother's eyes. As the argument escalated, the house and village began to crumble, and the candle was toppled. Everyone lost their magical abilities, and Mirabelle raced to retrieve the magic candle to save the Madrigal family. The casita expelled everyone as Mirabelle remained inside, endeavoring to save the miracle. She managed to get hold of the candle, but as the house collapsed, she sought refuge behind some furniture. Sadly, the candle was snuffed out entirely, and the casita became lifeless. Faced with this chaos, Mirabelle resolved to flee, spending the night hidden in the forest. The following day, while Mirabelle's relatives are searching for her, her grandmother discovers her sitting on the edge of a serene lake. Mirabelle is still crying over the recent events and asks for forgiveness for causing so much trouble. Her grandmother joins her and confesses that she has never returned to that place since it was the river where the miracle occurred and where Pedro lost his life. As Alma talks about her memories, she reminisces about her wedding day when she was overflowing with happiness. However, the arrival of the news that his wife was pregnant with triplets left the couple anxious. Their world shattered when their village was invaded, and everything was turned into ashes. The couple and their people set off in search of a new beginning, but their journey came to a halt when they had to cross the river. The men who had invaded their village caught up with them, and Pedro had to sacrifice himself for his family. Alma breaks down in tears, and miraculously, her people are saved. Alma admits that it was her own fault that the family was in disarray, as she was so afraid of losing the miracle that she had forgotten the reason why she had received it. Mirabelle sees the butterfly from Bruno's vision and encourages her grandmother to accompany her into the river. Mirabelle reminds her abuela that the Madrigal family exists because of her, and the miracle happened because of her. She reassures her that there is nothing that has been ruined that cannot be fixed. As they embrace, thousands of butterflies surround them. While preparing to return to the village, Bruno arrives and takes responsibility for the troubles. His mother embraces him and assures him that she is thrilled to see him. Together, the three return home and are reunited with the rest of the family. The entire village shows up, and they begin to rebuild the Madrigal home. After a few months, the house is finally ready, and Mirabelle is the first to open the door by touching the doorknob. The magic returns, and the house comes back to life. Everyone can celebrate together again. Zero, what are your thoughts on this movie? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more movie recaps. Until next time,